fucking liar. You absolute fucking liar. This is not going to be 15, 20 minutes.
I know you are very busy, so we'll tie up the interview real quickly. Just want to talk a little bit about Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, which is the Robert Englund documentary. What can you tell us about it?
Uh, as in what conception or where we are with it?
Well, I know you had a premiere recently
Yeah,
at the festival, so
so
go ahead.
yeah, we at Sitges Film Festival in Spain, we were very honoured. They accepted it as the world premiere, so we attended that. Myself, Adam, our co-producer, obviously Chris, obviously as co-director, Chris's wife, and obviously Nancy and Robert England both attended as well. And it was just a whirlwind experience, really, for me, and I know for Chris as well. I've been a fan of Robert since I was a kid. You know, it's a hit. Like with probably Peter Weller and Chris, it's probably the same with me and Robert. And I know Chris obviously has that affection for Robert as well. But I had him on my bedroom, door as a kid. You know, that poster of Robert England, not literally,
The poster, yeah.
yeah, the poster. And and I think we got to a stage as filmmakers where we could approach him. Last couple of years ago, I think right at the start would have been wrong for us to do that. But I approached him about 3 years ago to do the doc, and it was a lot of conversations with him and Nancy, a lot of meetings, and they've really come on board now. We've become very close to them. We've been very lucky. Chris says about it's difficult not getting close. You think you're close to people, and you're actually not because it's an interview. I was talking to Nancy yesterday on text. She was texting me some pictures of her at Mardi Gras yesterday, and I think we got a relationship. I'll show you them later, Chris. I think we got a relationship now with them where we can just talk to them, and bounce back, and I think they trust us.
Very personal thing we're dealing with, isn't it? Against like the other things where it's all different cast and crew and all this and that, which obviously we've got a multitude of people involved in this documentary. This is our first run, go on the whole like this is about you, this is your life, this is a personal thing, and so we've had to very much Gary, with a massive head start against me, build a relationship, and trust is a massive thing actually.
And I think the trust comes in because we said from day one this wasn't a Freddy Krueger documentary,
and I think that's what I wanted to ask actually.
Yeah. Well, Robert said on the phone, he said obviously he's not stupid. Freddy is an icon. He knows Freddy's important, but this is not about Freddy. So this documentary is about Robert's life and career, and actually about how the role of Freddy Krueger has impacted the later career. So we start with Freddy. And then we go back to when childhood. We've got lots of stuff, the resources regards to his childhood, how he got into film, how he became an actor, the first films that he did, leading right up into the horror films like Death Trap and Galaxy of Terror. Then we go into obviously V, which is iconic for him, has become a household name. And then this film, Nightmare on Elm Street, happens in '84. And then it's really about, we have a nice section. Chris done an amazing job on that section in terms of, covering the whole franchise in a very short period in 20 minutes. But it's fast paced, it's interesting. The stuff in there you haven't even heard from Never Sleep Again. We go into the sense of Robert is playing a child molester literally, but how someone like Robert's caliber can elevate that character, even though it's a very disgusting dark character. Essentially, Robert's portrayal makes him into an icon where children have T-shirts and action figures of him. And then we go on to how the role of Freddy's impacted his career. Is it a blessing or is it a curse? And then we get obviously a resolution at the end about obviously how important it is. And I think sorry, Chris, I think the last thing I want to say about it is probably not the last thing, is for me it was really important with Robert that you get these retrospective documentaries about people's careers in that sense when they're gone, when they're no longer here. And I think, why do we do that? Why do we wait till somebody dies? And I experienced it with my friend Don, and Chris's friend Don as well, Don Kaufer. When Don was alive, obviously he was iconic because of Eternal Living Dead. Nowhere near the level of obviously Robert, nowhere near that fandom, but still an iconic character actor. He was living in a retirement trailer in Yucca Valley when he passed away of dementia, and nobody gave a shit about him. The calls weren't coming. And the day he died, literally the social media went wild. Entertainment Weekly, Rolling Stone magazine, all the digital outlets are all talking about this amazing character actor passing away. But where were they the week before when he was alive? And I think and even though Robert gets the accolades, he does. We were with him in situations where he's been mobbed. I mean, literally been mobbed. Why not celebrate?
I thought we were security.
Yeah, but why not celebrate their life and career when they're here to appreciate it? And we had Robert virtually in tears with us. He's emotional about what he'd seen, and I think that was important to us.
That's a nice little roll off for an anecdote as well. I suppose. This is the one I'm going to be telling grandkids and everything. But I suppose an interesting thing we had with this is, we've been working on it for a good few years. Gary and I did the whole final run of this doc. It's always bloody last minute with us, and then you end up. We probably average. He's practically part of the furniture in this very room. So I'm in Northampton, he's Birmingham. In the last couple of weekends in the run up to it, like working till 4 a.m. Some weekends, 14-hour days. Like really, it kind of went from this is it to like this is it in about the span of 3 months, I think, wasn't it?
Evolved,
During that whole process, we're kind of go. Gary's the one who's luckily the one who's more the target for them in terms of his engagement with Nancy and Robert, because I'd only met him once at this point. Is it done yet? Can we watch it? We're just working on it. And then we get close to the festival, and it's like, is it done yet? Can we see it? It's like, we're just trying to iron it out. And at the same time, collectively, we're probably shitting our pants that
don't watch it.
We'll just show you when you're over there. Let's because you could not like it. So let's just get you over there. So we forgot about it, and it's the day before the premiere, the screening, and I'd got there ahead of Gary and Adam with my wife at the hotel, and they're due to catch their flights, and then I get a message from a representative we had there who we were sharing with Robert, who was looking after us at the festival, saying, Robert and his wife were asking if they can watch the documentary. And I'm like, oh God, I'm not the one that makes those calls. Gary's not playing shit. Yeah, fine. Let him watch it. We're well over the line now to showing this tomorrow. So, come what may. So, we'll sort him out a laptop. You can watch it. Great, cool. See him in the evening. Did you watch the documentary? No. Okay, cool. We're going to try and watch it tomorrow. Fine. So on the day of the premiere, they want to watch it in the morning. Fine, knock yourselves out. Have you got a laptop and everything? Good, great. So I get absolutely slaughtered on the first night because the booze was free. And then the next morning, I wake up with a very, very rough hangover, and I decide to message his wife just to be like, Nance, just check in. You guys are kosher. You've got your laptop, and yeah, we're fine. Cool. Well, I don't know about anyone else here. Well, just my wife in the room at the time. I'm going to go for a shit because I'm hanging out my ass here. So let's go for that morning after shit. Cool. Wicked. Boom. 2 minutes. I shit you not. 2 minutes later. Hello. Hi, it's Nancy. We're just in the lobby. What room are you and your wife in? Because we're going to come up and watch the doc.
Oh, Jesus.
Thank God I decided to buy one of those like cheap ass Primark aftershaves because I need luggage allowance. So I was like, babe, get the sprays, get new clean, get an exorcist for fuck's sakes, and just crack the windows. So in fact, Robert first watched the documentary nearly hours, if not minutes, hours for sure, but before it was going to be screened to an audience. And basically from his end, and not to make it sound like a diva, like we want to see it, but it's a massive deal for him. Yeah. Robert is someone who is very extrovert, very image conscious. He wants to set I say he wants to set a look for himself. I've never known anyone to be so, and it shows in the doc, and I haven't not had as much experience with him personally like Gary had. I think in a way, having met him since being with him a lot, to be honest, since making the documentary, it's like, fuck yeah, we nailed that. In terms of a portrayal of him as a person. And he is incredibly giving. But he certainly has a presence about himself. But I'm just there going like, I've nearly stunk out the room. Freddy Krueger and his wife are fucking coming into it. Luckily, Gary and Adam were like not far behind. So it's like, good, we can all suffer in this together.
Oh, it's
horrible,
and
he had what looked like the dodgiest looking porn shoot you've ever seen in a hotel room. Not a seedy one, but a nice one. But it's my wife, me, Gary on the bed, Adam's at the end of the bed, a bit like a dog. And Robert and his wife watching it on my crappy buttons missing laptop on a table. And we're just there like, fuck. Like, so just, oh, shit. And obviously, there's elements in the documentary, humorous ones, which I won't completely allude to, which are a bit like, whoa.
We were shitting ourselves on
pushing the boat out a bit, On certain parts, we're like, oh, fuck, it's that, that anecdote is coming up. And we're just there going, fuck, oh, God. Oh God, he didn't react to it too much. No good. And
He laughed.
he stood up and he laughed. And he stood up because I think it kind of he'd run out of time, so he had to go and do interviews. And he said, "Oh boys, I absolutely love it. The editing was superb." And he just absolutely adored it. So that was great. And then he watched the final part, which he didn't watch on the laptop at the screening itself, kind of snuck in again. And so to have that kind of level of it's the closest kind of relationship I think we've had with anyone yet, because it's about them. We've had to completely unpack their lives, and as Gary had said, now our relationship's kind of grown exponentially with him since the screen. I think it's almost and rightfully so in a way. We've definitely had to prove ourselves to him by he's played along, he's done multiple interviews, he's assisted us to a certain extent, but since that screening now, it was like, oh yeah, we also found these other 200 photos. And you're like,
200 photographs,
and I'm not saying it's like a power play on their part, but I think in terms of that level of trust, which is really nice to do, that's a real deep relationship that you have to build with someone. Actually, it's like, holy shit, that's just a complete sign of their level of trust in us now. Like, of course, you can use those holiday photos of ours in the documentary and everything like that. So, we're really proud of it. It's a new area we're going into. It's not as critics of our work sometimes call a glorified DVD extra.
I read that today.
We've had that on some of our stuff. And so be it. We're the only ones who did it, so that's what we always look at with our projects. But this is a bit of a not a complete turning point for us, but it's a bit like, okay, this is a new area we're going into, someone's life story or someone's career.
As you said, it's literally
what we could look at doing next.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the canary in the tunnel, whatever you call it, canary in the mine, isn't it? Let's see how this one goes first, and we'll then hopefully providing. Well, of course it's going to come up, but for us, essentially, then this is going to be that. Okay, let's look at this person or that person. Here's what we've done, and hopefully, I'd like to think anyway. I'm relatively confident in what we've achieved with this, that we can pass on something.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think as Chris said, when we did our close relationship probably with this was probably on Fright Night with Tom Holland, because obviously he was producing it. It's his baby, and I think the good thing for us was we were a bit because we were in the UK and he's US. We could get away with a lot of things in a sense, play stupid because of the time delays and and obviously distribution and kind of stuff like that. This one's different because, as Chris said, you actually showing pictures of someone's mom on a screen and their dad, and their intimate stories about their relationship as a couple. And you've got to get that right. And also, I think one thing we said when we first started discussing it was we wanted to elevate Nancy's role as well in Robert's life. Because Nancy, obviously, he's his wife's name, not just obviously the character in Nightmare on Elm Street. But she plays a very important part of that man's life in terms of managing him. Not managing as a fish manager, but she's the buffer, really. And we had to get through her first to get to Robert. She had to basically make sure we were kosher before she said yes. And I think so. We've actually got her in the dark and she's interviewing. I think they appreciated that she gets a voice as well, and that she gets to tell the man behind it. And it is literally that kind of like going, this is Freddy Krueger. Yeah, this is a guy who loves his dogs. This is a guy who loves food. This guy loves his fans. This guy will help people out. And I think we've been really lucky on it, as you said, and I'm really proud of it. I'm genuinely proud of what we've achieved. Obviously, I'm spending the weekend after next with Chris doing some fine tuning on it. Again, we're going to have an announcement hopefully pretty soon. Obviously, the buzz about it from Sitges has been amazing. And it's going to be out obviously as soon as we possibly get it out, and it's a celebration of someone's life. And hopefully we're doing lots of podcasts with Robert and lots of interviews with Robert promoting it. He's very keen to do that. So again, we went to Sitges with Robert and we were treated like filmmakers for the first real time, I think, after 10 years. And we know because Robert was there, it's important. But when Robert went, we were sitting there having a drink with Neil Marshall, director of Descent. And he wasn't. He's
got on the red carpet. Let's go with him. Hang on his coattails. Go, boys.
But it wasn't like, who are you guys? It was like, oh, you're filmmakers. Oh, you did this. Oh, that's brilliant. Tell us the story. Tell us how you met. And I think Robert's helped us do that, regards to Robert's personality. And I think, that's not us obviously using him. We were very, very, very kind of like shocked how well we were treated at Sitges. And I think we were, and I kept saying to people, we were treated as filmmakers as opposed to fans making a documentary. And I think doing something on someone's life elevates that as well, because it's such a risk you take doing, and I think, hopefully, well, we know Robert's happy and Nancy. They're the most important people to be happy, and they are over the moon with it. So if people love it, brilliant. Freddy fans will love it. There's stuff in there that even Freddy fans wouldn't have heard before, and people will hopefully watch it and go, I didn't know Robert starred in a film with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll go and watch that. I didn't know Robert.
That was one of the biggest feedback we got actually on it, was the amount of things. Even though I kind of knew it in some respects, there's the trivia elements of things that we obviously try and throw. It's get every bit of trivia you can imagine, get every bit of collateral you can possibly imagine no one's ever seen. And obviously people go, oh, I knew that already. But when you see it all bunched together, I think it was one of the biggest bits of feedback we got. I was like, holy shit. He was with that person at that point. Oh my God, and that person, they all kind of came from the same era. You got a film in the 70s called Stay Hungry that stars Jeff Bridges. So you've got Starman in there, Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger, and Schwarzenegger, Terminator, actually all of which star in this film in 76. And then within 8 years, they were all Terminator, Freddy, Starman. Do you know what I mean? And that was one of the things, because Robert's a storyteller, to say the least.
Yeah.
He can talk until the cows come home. He appreciates that thing. And that's what I love, I think, about him especially, is he's not just an actor, he's a film fan. He's a film fan, yeah. So he knows his shit through and through. I mean, oh God, I dare say, like in off camera moments, or like at Sitges. Oh, and there was this film with this person, and it had Greta so and so, and blah blah blah. And his wife's just going, Robert, these boys don't know who these people are, kind of thing. And I'm sure that's what we're doing right now with so and so who was in Fright Night 2 and all this and that. To all of us, yeah, of course we know. But when we're telling, the next generation these stories about, who the fuck are they on about? But he just knows anything, everything, and the paths he crossed in the 70s and early 80s is like, fuck. So we've really tried to embellish on them. And as Gary had said, when we were doing when I was doing the final pickup interview with him over there after it all, it was only because I'd said a certain thing that he went, oh yeah, that person. I helped him on, which I dare say might be common knowledge. I certainly did know it, but we didn't have going right in there, So it's great to be able to go, let's put that in there, and you just add into this roster of like, shit,
And then,
things you just never knew before collectively.
And we've always tried to do it in our docs, put humour in it. And I think the one thing that probably Chris is good at, which a lot of editors aren't really, is finding humorous, funny bits which make the documentary more light. And I think there's so many bits in this doc which are funny, where you do, you belly laugh and you do chuckle. And I think that's credit to Chris there, because I think you can do an edit and you're so focused on the story, and obviously just getting, you need them light moments sometimes, and we've got that. And we had a Spanish audience, and people were laughing in the right places. And Robert's a raconteur, Robert tells story, but people were laughing. It's like, we done it, we got it right.
I think that was one of the interesting things, actually, being lucky enough to have done Sitges now, because we did Pennywise at Sitges last year, and we've got. I think there's a few humorous moments we injected into Pennywise. I mean, it certainly came from Tim. There's a few, there's definitely a few little moments, but one of my favorite parts is where it's the Georgie anecdotes in Pennywise. Like, Tim, you scare me, and you've got these two conversations happening, and that's what I quite love about the art of editing. You're like, do we just have one person play off the other one? No, integrate it, chop it up a bit, so it goes from this person to that person to this person, to kind of tell the story. It's that, Tim, you scare me. Oh, they'll serve you a bit of acting kind of thing. And the British audience, when we showed it at Fright Fest, will piss themselves, because that's dry British wit. But you hear about this, about even the films we love. Spanish audience, not a peep. And then they were laughing at other shit where I'm like, it's kind of funny, I guess. It is a humorous thing, but it's just maybe not my kind of humor. I'm a bit more like, tits ass, class. I'm probably I'm the lowest common denominator of humor. But, it's that dry British wit. So that was kind of quite interesting with Pennywise, is there were laughs, but not at times I expected them. But not laughs at the points where I expected them to be. But then, surprising things with Robert Englund. That's what I'm saying with Robert Englund. That was what the real surprising thing was. So many parts there were like belly laughs going on and everything like that. Some are quite overt, aren't they? But
well, like you said, you look at Pennywise and look at this. We've actually got a dick joke in Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares. So we got the humour.
Robert Englund dick joke,
of course.
Yeah. So, but it's done.
That's how personal we get with these people.
Yeah. But I just think the humour's there. I'm really proud about it. You know, I think again it's elevated the documentary somewhat because it's appealing to people. Then I mean, it's not just about people getting bored and getting taught that. There's lots of interesting things, lots of interesting footage behind the scenes. I'm really proud of this one out. I mean, RoboCop we already mentioned is a different level of doc, and I don't think we ever compare any of our work to RoboDoc. You just can't compare.
We're never going to put ourselves through that shit again.
But even saying, you know, oh, it's better than Fright Night, it's better than this, because it's a beast of its own. You can't compare it. We're never going to do anything like that ever again because it's just too much.
Quite lucky that we got quite a diverse roster, haven't we?
Yeah, I don't think anybody else can do it. And as Chris said, I know that some people are advertising their projects at the moment, saying that they're going to be, you know, kind of scene by scene dissections of a film. Yeah, I don't think people can do it at the level we've done it, and that's not being modest or being bigging ourselves up. There's been 6 years of work in that project to get it to this stage. So Icon
it's probably people not being that stupid.
Yeah, but Icon for me is just a different project completely because it's a personal one about someone's life. So it's going to be hard to top that as well. But Chris has got some ideas, so hopefully those ideas will come to fruition on our next project, where we can not elevate Robert's work because we can't do that because Robert's Robert, but then go a different approach in the same kind of formula, i.e. biography, but a different approach to that biography. So it's not the same as Hollywood Dreams. It's different.
Okay. I think you've got to evolve. That's the main thing we've learned. And I feel like more now than ever, it's the same approach for editing. It's the whole hindsight thing. I think because of COVID, obviously, we've had actually quite a big hiatus from our usual annual retreat to the States to let's go and get all these interviews. And actually, I think stepping away from that now and finally getting shit sorted and out, I'll say that, you know, honestly about us. It's like, yay. I mean, like I said before, we're bottlenecking. All this stuff has just been various reasons, you know, in most cases out of our control, you know, been waiting there and people have been understandably really kind of chomping at the bit to see him or impatient at times. You know, it's great to now be like, it's all coming out now, isn't it? Yeah, but yeah, we took our time with it. But what's been great about being away from it all is it's the quality's improved, but it has like now given us, it's certainly given me a bit more like, all right, the next one needs to be different. Not necessarily saying better, but it's got to be different. We've got to kind of up the game. And I think it's like anyone, if you don't evolve, you just kind of, you know.
Well, as Chris just said then,
you've got to keep moving.
Chris just said, I think, you know, again, it's easy to release something really quick. It's easy to get interviews and release something which is 90 minutes and get it, you know, shipped out by a couple of editors in the space of 6 months to a year. It's easy to do that. And again, our stuff takes a long time. There's been other reasons, but I genuinely think that when we produce something and it's released, it's at a different level because there's passion in there and everything is thought through. Every scene, every interview is dissected by us back and forwards. I mean, I think it was about Icon has been about 15 to 20 drafts. Even when me and Chris took over, Chris took over the end and I supported him, there was another like 6 or 7 drafts then. And there's going to be another draft, even though it's been premiered. We're going to do some tweaks. But Pennywise was saying Pennywise was probably about 10 or 12 drafts of that edit over that 3-4 year period. And I think that's important. So we need to be happy that it's right for us as filmmakers and fans. Because it's easy just to produce stuff and get it out there, just to tick a box and make some money. We don't make money, but that's our problem. But we don't. But it's easy. I think that's what we're trying to avoid doing, is just a quick release. And that takes time, unfortunately, when we've got full-time jobs. But again, we're elevating our work, elevating our skills. Chris's skills have so improved since Leviathan days, even though he's very modest and he won't admit how good Fright Night Part 2 is. I think it's brilliant. Fright Night Part 2, Chris did the edit on that. But even since then, his editing skills and directing skills have elevated to.
I don't know. I looked at it the other day and it was like, ooh.
No, but people love it. People love it. We're really conscious about our quality. Yet, even Leviathan, which we know, the first Leviathan, not the one that's on Screenbox now, the kind of producer's cut, mine and Chris's cut. The original version, 7 hours. There's lots of issues with that doc. Lots and lots of issues with it. You know, regards to pacing, quality. People love it, and we worry about people going, "Oh, they're going to, you know, that grade shit or that, yeah, there's a missing cut there." People don't see that. They love the content. So hopefully, we've got a nice balance now where we're really conscious about pace, time, narrative, gold, and also about quality as well. And that they kind of join together, and we create Pennywise, RoboDoc, and the Hollywood Dreams based on that.
Amazing, this lads. This sounds fucking amazing. I can't wait for it. Robert Englund is one of my top guys, and Freddy Krueger is my favorite horror villain of all time. I met him once at con. He did tell me the Mark Hamill story. I don't know if that's in the doc.
Of course it is.
But he tells that story everywhere.
Well, Mark Hamill denies it.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
But
that's why it's a good story, though.
Yeah. We put it in. It's nice.
But yeah, I can't wait for the documentary, guys. It's been a long time coming. I think Robert needs to tell his story, his whole life story, not just about Freddy Krueger, though. So I'm really happy that you did that as well. Any idea when it might get some sort of wide release date? Or
well, based on conversations we had on the weekend, obviously, this sounds like a long time, but it's not a long time when you talk about release. It's probably looking about, I think we said about May time next year. Now, that's not a long, but that sounds like a long time, but it's not. Once we get Christmas out of the way, we're going to be in a journey event. There's lots of pre-promotion on it, build-up, interviews with Robert, podcasts. So there's going to be a nice kind of trajectory of stuff coming out before it's actually physically released then. So, yeah, it just takes time because of the deals we have to do. And
against our previous experience, against our previous output and how long things take, actually, I suppose you can say 6-7 months is like, Jesus, that's... dead mouse. What's wrong with you? You're really putting shit out fast. So
but
that's the luxury of having a history of taking years to make stuff. You say 7 months, you're like, that's really fast. Well done. Are you sure you can do it? You can get a temperature.
I think we don't realize. I mean, if you take away the 3 or 4 years before Pennywise, and then from when we actually had the edit ready to go to distribution, I think we didn't realize how long that takes as well. Really, there was literally probably 6 months of negotiation on contracts, really, to make sure. And one of the big things in the contract, which even though we get criticised for, was we insisted on physical releases. We have to have a physical release for the people that contributed to that documentary so they get their copies. And I think people do go, "Oh, you sold out by saying distributor." Well, the landscape, I could do a podcast on this alone, but the landscape of independent filmmaking has massively changed. It just has since Leviathan and Brewster days. We could not release this now independently. We'd be in prison for copyright infringement. We just would be. We have to go through a proper legal process of our projects now. That creates time then, and obviously, unfortunately, impacts obviously some of our promises we made back when we started it with obviously the fans. But we've insisted. So the process for me, I think, so strange how long it takes now. Once you get the initial person going, we want to basically distribute this, we want to fund this and post production, get it out. Pennywise took about probably a year, I reckon, when we first signed a deal with Screenbox and Cinedigm. It took a year, that deal, not just the deal being signed, but then the deliverables and the pre kind of like press stuff, and then we just handed it to you literally 6 months ago, and it's not been released for 6 months. But they wanted a journey. They had targets in mind. So and obviously
we should add on that point as well. To be honest, a little name drop thing, but yeah, they've been incredible.
They've been
Screenbox. We're very lucky to have linked up with them because they're the new kids on the block, and the level of promotion they did,
unbelievable.
Pennywise, to the point that it was like, all right, I know it's not in the general sense, like your mates at school are seeing the same thing you do, but to have seen on the day it was released in the States, a mix of hashtag Pennywise, the story of it is trending Pennywise is trending in the States, story of it is trending in the UK. It was like, holy shit.
Amazing, yeah.
And it was I've got to give that public kudos on the record to say, holy, I can't believe how we lucked out.
Well, the fact we were number one,
who've essentially helped us finish.
Yeah, well, we were number one on Amazon. So I've got my real naughty dogs open this door of this office. We've got, we were number one on Amazon for horror and then one for documentary for like a week, and that for us, as when we've done Leviathan and we did Brewster, we were so proud of them. For actually be number one on the mainstream distributor, that was just a massive thing for us as filmmakers. And even the total film, reviews 3 stars out of 5, But
I popped into HMV in Coventry today.
I saw, yeah.
And it's on the shelves. It's like, holy shit!
But that's just amazing.
It
makes it worth. But we've had many stressful conversations and debates and tantrums and arguments, virtually fist fights. Me and Chris have over the years. But when you look back and you go, you know what, all that shit was worth it. We've made mistakes, we've done things wrong, not just obviously publicly, but obviously privately, regards to how we've managed things. But then we've got this out, and we've got Icon coming out, and we've got Robot coming out. So it kind of makes it worth it, and it makes us obviously start considering obviously the next level now for the company, and obviously, you know, for people like Chris and myself, what the next level is, because I think we're there now in the sense of, you know, as filmmakers, to actually start committing all of our time, as opposed to our few hours in the evenings we have free and some weekends. We can actually start thinking about how can we start budgeting and working more with companies, you know, as opposed to us doing Kickstarters. People are approaching us now, asking us to work with them, which that's unbelievable for us. And a filmmaker like Chris, that's a massive transition from fan independent to a professional filmmaker, which he is. But to be actually approached by companies, you know, to do documentaries, which Chris has been working on, you know, with other people, and now for Cult Screens to be approached, that's just a different level for us.
It's awesome, because you can just go into your day job and say, "Where the fuck is the red carpet when I go on my you know, computer desk?" You know, like why isn't no one bringing me drinks over here? You can start like acting like a fucking diva at work. But yeah, echoing what Gary said, as we said at the start, you know, this sounds really corny, but there has been a sense in the last couple of weeks of like, last couple of months, but holy shit, is this actually the wheel? You know, I keep using the term, the wheels are greased, you know, on posts, because every time I post about one project or something, you'll instantly get there. Where the fuck is my So I now almost have like a magnet on my tweets to be like, Pennywise is out in the world. Robodoc's next. Robodoc's next. Robodoc's next. You know, don't worry. Yeah, before anyone tries to counteract that or whatever.
I'm joking.
It's imminent. But like I said, it's kind of quite insane what's happening. So hopefully, you know, we've got a good, exciting couple months, which for us, you know, certainly for us personally, but actually for us, for the fans, we always set, I think our mandate was, we always set out to see these projects are made for fans by fans. And I think that's what I'm really looking forward to, is going, there you go, have you know, like giving out crack to RoboCop fans and, you know, Freddy fans, like, you know, yourself, you'll just be hopped up on goofballs, hopefully anyway, when you watch this stuff. I think that's what I quite love, though, is like, I hope you guys are getting that experience. Like, you know, we don't do these things just for, fuck it, there we go. I know I said there's a gap in the market for these things, but, you know, that is with the intent of, he hasn't had his moment in sunshine on the documentary. So let's give that to the fans. So, yeah, when you see that kind of reaction, it's like, yes, got it, you know, king of the fucking nerds. I mean, that's a bit, you know, getting ahead of myself. Sorry, that's you, Gary. I know I'm not a gorgeous little prince, but
gorgeous.
But yeah. But I mean, you showed your beard, man. I know you're trying to look young, but no, it's yeah. I think we're about to embark on a pretty mental period. It's just a bit of a scary climate out there, really, to be honest, to be changing jobs or whatever. But yeah, come on, mate. Anyway.
Right, fuck, that sounds amazing, man. It's been amazing to chat to you guys tonight.
Chris said it'd be 15 minutes, Chris said.
Yeah, I thought it was only going to be 15-20 minutes, and we're nearly at 2 hours here, so...
You've not spoke to me and Chris before?
No, I haven't. Chris, you might have to edit this video. Have you got time to edit this for me?
No, he hasn't. He's got no time.
Some animations in. Yeah.
No, exactly.
Actually, I've got to do a campaign for my work tonight, but no, yeah, sorry, mate. I kind of knew when we said the 15-20 minutes thing, I was just like inside going, you fucking liar. You absolute fucking liar. This is not going to be 15-20 minutes. But yeah, it's been good chatting.
You were quite happy to chat away, so I just let you chat, you know what I mean? So it's actually your fault. So
that's Robert rubbing off on us, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I haven't even had my dinner yet, lads. Fuck's sake.
Never mind. I'll cook it now.
Ah, well, sure. We had a bit of crack anyway. Cheers, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks very much, Gary, Chris. All the best.
Thank you.
Take care.